What if the way you drink water is secretly ruining your sleep? You might think drinking more water is always a good thing, especially after 70. But here's a surprising truth. How and when you hydrate could be the exact reason you keep waking up at 2 a.m., eyes wide, bladder full, and sleep gone. In this video, we're going to uncover 5 surprising mistakes seniors make with water, and how just changing your hydration habits could finally give you the peaceful, full night's sleep your body deserves. Stick around because tip 3 is something almost everyone does without realizing, and it might be the one habit silently draining your energy every morning. Staying hydrated becomes more important than ever after 70, but what if your good habit is backfiring at night? If you're waking up groggy, dehydrated, or frustrated by constant bathroom trips, you're not alone. Many seniors think it's just part of aging, but it's often a fixable hydration mistake. In this video, you'll discover how to hydrate smarter, not harder. You'll learn the best time of day to stop drinking water, what beverages to avoid before bed, and one simple trick to calm your bladder for deeper, uninterrupted sleep. Because waking up refreshed shouldn't be a thing of the past, it should be your daily reality. Before we dive in, how often do you wake up at night to pee? If it's more than once, tip 1 might change your sleep tonight. Tip 1, the 2-hour rule, let your bladder sleep too. Imagine this, you've brushed your teeth, dimmed the lights, and finally crawled under the covers. Just as your body begins to settle into sleep, that familiar urge strikes. Again, you're heading to the bathroom for the second, maybe even third time that night. Sound familiar? For seniors, nighttime urination, called nocturia, is a common frustration. But it doesn't have to be. One of the simplest, most effective habits to reduce it is something I call the 2-hour rule. Here's how it works. Stop drinking large amounts of fluids about 2 hours before your usual bedtime. That's it. Now let's unpack why this simple change can make such a huge difference. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at concentrating urine. That means your body may produce more urine at night than it used to. Add in weakened pelvic muscles or an overactive bladder, and suddenly, those late-night trips feel endless. But when you stop drinking fluids 2 hours before sleep, you give your kidneys enough time to process and send that liquid through your system while you're still awake. By the time you lie down, your bladder is emptier, and you're far less likely to be jolted awake by that urgent need to pee. Even better? Shifting when you hydrate, not just how much, can supercharge this effect. Here's what longevity doctors often recommend for seniors. Start your day with a tall glass of water. Your body loses moisture overnight through breathing and sweat, so rehydrating in the morning is key. Bonus points if you add a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to replenish minerals. Front-load your hydration. Aim to drink the bulk of your daily fluids between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. This aligns with your body's natural rhythms and gives your kidneys all day to process. Sip slowly, not all at once. Gulping down 2 cups of water in the evening may seem helpful, but it just overwhelms your bladder. Let's take the story of Evelyn, 76. She loved her nightly cup of tea and thought staying hydrated before bed was healthy. But she was waking up 3 times a night to pee, often feeling groggy and frustrated in the morning. Once she adopted the 2-hour rule and moved her tea ritual to 6 p.m. instead of 9, something incredible happened. She started sleeping through the night. Her mornings felt easier, her energy improved, and she finally began enjoying her retirement mornings instead of recovering from restless nights. Of course, hydration is still important, especially for seniors. But the timing of that hydration matters just as much as the quantity. So tonight, try this. Look at the clock and pause your water or tea 2 hours before bed. Then notice how your body responds over the next few nights. It might be the small change your bladder has been begging for. And that's just the beginning. In the next tip, we'll uncover one surprising beverage that pretends to help you sleep, but could be the reason you're wide awake at 3 a.m. Stay with me. Tip 2. Ditch the hidden fluids. When most seniors think about drinking too much water, they imagine tall glasses of liquid before bedtime. But what if the real culprits weren't in your cup, but on your dinner plate? Let's talk about hidden fluids, the silent saboteurs of your sleep. These are the liquids you don't always think about. Soups, broths, watery fruits like watermelon or oranges, herbal teas, and even desserts like jelly or juicy pies. All of these can sneak extra fluid into your system right before bed, and your bladder doesn't care whether it came from a mug or a spoon. Take Mr. Thomas, 74. Every night, he'd enjoy a bowl of warm lentil soup followed by a slice of peach cobbler. It's mostly solid, he thought. Can't be that much liquid. but like clockwork, he'd wake up at 2:45 a.m. every single night. When his daughter, a dietitian, visited and observed his routine, she pointed out the obvious. "Dad, that soup and cobbler combo? That's almost 16 ounces of fluid you're consuming with dinner. That's like downing a bottle of water right before bed." Here's the science. It takes your kidneys 1 to 2 hours to fully process liquid and send it toward your bladder. So when you're eating or drinking high-fluid foods late in the evening, you're priming your bladder for activity exactly when your body should be winding down. Even something as innocent as a relaxing cup of chamomile tea can become a problem when it's consumed at 9 p.m. Remember, herbal teas are hydrating. And what hydrates must eventually be excreted. What's the fix? Simple but powerful. Move hidden fluids earlier. If you love soup, have it at lunch or early dinner, ideally before 6 p.m. Save fruits for midday. Snack on oranges, melons, or grapes during the day when you're more active, not right before bed. Be mindful of dessert timing. Gelatin, custards, and other moist sweets often add to your fluid load, even if you don't feel like you've had much to drink. Switch your nighttime tea. If you absolutely need a warm drink before bed, go for just a few sips, or opt for a small cup of warm almond milk instead of herbal tea. You don't need to cut out these foods entirely. Just shift the timing, and your bladder will thank you. Because here's the truth, it's not just what you eat and drink, it's when. By learning to manage hidden fluids, you're taking back control of your nights. Less disruption, deeper sleep, better mornings, and maybe, just maybe, that 3 a.m. bathroom dash? It becomes a thing of the past. Tip 3. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. If you're over 70 and waking up to pee every night, you might think, "I don't drink coffee in the evening, so it can't be caffeine." But what if I told you caffeine, and its sneaky cousins, are still affecting your bladder long after your last sip? Here's what most seniors don't realize. Caffeine doesn't just vanish from your system. In fact, it can linger in your bloodstream for 6 to 8 hours, or even longer, especially as your metabolism slows with age. That means your 2 p.m. cup of coffee could still be poking your bladder awake at midnight. And it's not just coffee you need to watch. Green tea? It sounds soothing, but it still contains caffeine and certain bladder-stimulating compounds called theobromines. Even decaf coffee isn't caffeine-free. A standard cup of decaf can contain up to 15 milligrams of caffeine, enough to irritate a sensitive bladder. Let's look at Mrs. Alvarez, 77. She gave up coffee years ago, but every afternoon around 3 p.m., she brewed herself a cup of green tea and curled up with her book. It relaxed her, or so she thought. But night after night, she woke up at 2:30 a.m. tossing and turning. Her doctor suggested a sleep aid, but her granddaughter had a different idea. Try switching her tea. Within 3 days of replacing green tea with warm chamomile, something amazing happened. Mrs. Alvarez slept through the night for the first time in months. So why does caffeine, even in small amounts, disrupt your nights? Caffeine is a known diuretic. It increases urine production. It also stimulates the bladder directly, making it more sensitive to even small amounts of liquid. For seniors with naturally weakening bladder muscles or smaller bladder capacity, that's a recipe for nocturia, nighttime urination. Even worse, caffeine interferes with melatonin production, the hormone that helps your brain prepare for deep, restful sleep. So now your body isn't just waking up to pee, it's struggling to fall back asleep. Here's what you can do instead. Cut off caffeine by 2 p.m. at the latest. For some, even noon is a safer boundary. Read your labels. Many soft drinks, teas, and even chocolate-flavored protein powders have hidden caffeine. Switch to calming herbal teas. Chamomile, rooibos, peppermint, lavender, and barley tea are all naturally caffeine-free and bladder-friendly. Try warm almond milk or golden milk, turmeric plus non-dairy milk, as a nighttime ritual. These options are not only relaxing but also anti-inflammatory. Remember, just because something seems light or healthy doesn't mean it's right for your bladder. And the solution isn't to avoid all tea or warmth. It's to choose better options that work with your body, not against it. After all, good sleep isn't just about comfort. It's about protecting your heart, your memory, and your longevity. So tonight, skip the decaf, skip the green tea, and give your bladder a break. You deserve the kind of sleep that carries you into a vibrant tomorrow. Tip 4. Electrolytes matter more than you think. We've all been told to drink more water, especially as we age. But what if plain water isn't the full answer? What if the real key to staying hydrated and avoiding those frustrating 3 a.m. bathroom trips lies in something much smaller? Electrolytes. These tiny minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, are essential for fluid balance. And for seniors, they can be the difference between waking up constantly at night or finally sleeping through without interruption. Let's break it down. When you drink plain water, especially in large amounts or late in the day, your body works quickly to flush out the excess. And here's the kicker, it flushes out electrolytes along with it. That's why some seniors feel more tired, dizzy, or lightheaded despite drinking enough. Even worse, low sodium levels, called hyponatremia, can mimic dehydration. So you drink even more and end up peeing all night long. Let's look at Mr. Devraj, 82. He was doing everything right. 8 glasses of water a day. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Still, he was waking up twice a night to urinate. His doctor checked his labs and found that his sodium levels were on the low end. Not dangerously low, but just enough to affect fluid balance. The solution? Instead of only drinking plain water, his daughter gave him a small glass of water in the morning with a pinch of sea salt and lemon. And mid-morning, he added a sugar-free electrolyte packet to his water bottle. Within 3 days, something shifted. He felt more energized during the day, less dizzy when standing up. And yes, he slept straight through from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Here's why this works. Electrolytes help your cells actually absorb the water you drink. Without them, it's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. Your body just flushes it out. With electrolytes, you stay hydrated longer, and your kidneys don't have to work overtime during the night. Here's how to apply this tip safely. Start your day with a mineral-rich drink. Try a pinch of sea salt and warm water with lemon, or use a balanced electrolyte mix, sugar-free. Avoid sports drinks that are loaded with sugar. These spike insulin and can irritate your bladder. Eat potassium-rich foods like bananas, spinach, or sweet potatoes earlier in the day to support hydration naturally. If you're on a low-sodium diet, talk to your doctor before adding salt. But note, a tiny pinch for hydration is not the same as salty processed food. And most importantly, time your hydration. Get those minerals in the morning, not at night. Electrolytes are your hydration secret weapon. Not flashy, not trendy, just quietly powerful. And at this stage of life, small upgrades like this don't just help you sleep, they help you thrive. So tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for just water, make it smart water. Your bladder will thank you. Your sleep will thank you. And so will your energy for the day ahead. Tip 5, the small sips method at night. Here's something no one tells you when you're older. Thirst and hydration are not the same thing. Just because your mouth feels dry before bed doesn't mean your body needs a full glass of water. In fact, that just one more glass habit before sleep might be the very reason you're waking up at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., and again at 5. But don't worry, you don't have to choose between comfort and hydration. The answer? The small sips method. This strategy is exactly what it sounds like. If you feel thirsty before bed, or even wake up slightly parched in the middle of the night, you take just 1 to 2 small sips of water. Not gulps. Not half a bottle. Just enough to moisten the mouth and soothe your throat. Let's look at why this works. When you drink a large volume of water close to bedtime, your kidneys respond quickly. They begin processing and filtering the excess, and your bladder fills up, usually in the middle of the night. That might not be a big deal in your 30s or 40s, but after 70, your body isn't as fast at controlling fluids or bouncing back from sleep disruptions. Each bathroom trip fragments your rest. And those fragmented sleep patterns don't just leave you tired, they mess with memory, mood, and even blood sugar the next day. Now imagine a different scenario. You've had a well-hydrated day. You've followed the 2-hour rule and stopped fluids after dinner. But around 9:30 p.m., you feel a little thirsty. That's when you reach for your bedside straw cup, not to chug but to sip. 1 or 2 small, mindful sips. Just enough to ease that dry feeling without triggering your bladder. And yes, using a straw matters. The straw cup helps you regulate how much water you take in. You're less likely to overdrink by accident, especially when half asleep. Plus, keeping a designated bedside cup signals to your brain that hydration is handled, you've got it under control. Here's a true story. Anita, age 77, was waking up 4 times a night. She was frustrated, foggy during the day, and beginning to fear something was wrong. But her doctor couldn't find any major health issue. It wasn't until she joined a sleep workshop that she learned about the small sips method. She started keeping a reusable straw tumbler by her bed. If thirsty, she'd take just enough to wet her mouth. The results? Within a week, she was down to waking up only once. 2 weeks later, she started sleeping all the way through. Her words? I didn't need more water. I needed smarter water habits. How to apply this tonight? Use a small straw cup or tumbler by the bed, not a tall glass. Train yourself to take 1 to 2 sips only, even if you feel thirsty. If your mouth is dry, try rinsing with water instead of drinking it. Track your success. Note how many times you wake up, then adjust accordingly. The small sips method isn't a gimmick. It's a simple shift that honors your body's natural rhythm. And sometimes, the smallest sip can make the biggest difference. Your hydration shouldn't cost you your rest. After 70, every drop of water, and every hour of sleep, matters more than ever. These small tweaks in timing and habits aren't just about avoiding the bathroom. They're about reclaiming your nights, waking up clearer, stronger, and more refreshed. You deserve sleep that restores you. And it's more achievable than you think. So tell me, which tip are you going to try tonight? Is it the 2-hour rule, small sips, or maybe cutting back on those hidden fluids? Drop your answer in the comments below. Your routine could be exactly what another senior needs to hear. And if this video helped you, give it a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. This is your space to age with strength, clarity, and comfort, and I'm glad you're here.